Basically, quantitative easing refers to the Federal Reserve buying assets, right, to lower the long-term interest rate. And quantitative tightening means the Fed is selling assets to put upwards pressure on longer-term rates. So, when they want to stimulate the economy and reduce interest rates on longer-term interest securities, the Fed does this by purchasing large quantities of treasury securities, so that's treasury bonds, T bonds in the States, or mortgage backed securities, right? It can lead to that, yeah, can. What we see here on this chart right here is um, the Federal Reserve balance sheet, right? So it's the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. And what we can see here right around COVID, they started a pretty big quantitative easing cycle, right? So they started to buy up more and more and more to kind of put uh, oil in the fire for the economy and make sure the economy gets um, a little bit of a push, right? And can anyone tell me what the market narrative was back then? I think you're all pretty familiar with the market narrative back then. It's all we could speak about in the news and stuff in 2020. Yeah, inflation, but a much bigger thing, Josh. Much bigger than inflation at that point. Because yeah, COVID, exactly, COVID. COVID was the market narrative back then. Not sure if you were on the markets back then, but COVID was the main big thing back then, right? We had the stimulus checks, we had yeah, COVID up only, exactly. Since like at COVID we crashed, and then afterwards they started up quantitative easing. They gave up stimulus checks, you know, they started pumping money into the economy, and I would say there was never a crash, or it was just a crash, and we kind of recovered from there because we've never seen COVID lows again since then. And then back in 2023 or 2020, halfway 2022, the inflation started to go crazy. Right, we had 15% inflation in the States, which is pretty big, pretty high. We had the same amount, I think, here in Europe as well. I can remember stuff was expensive, expensive as shit, still is. That's where you can see they start to the quantitative tightening first, right? They started to let loose of the assets, sell them, right? Put upwards pressure on the long term rates, make sure people start to save more, right? So the inflation can be tamed a little bit.